Well. Let's fucking go. Sunday night, June 2nd, 9:30 p.m., about an hour and a half ago, Roaring Kitty tweeted out the green Uno reverse card, followed up by his first post on Reddit updating his portfolio to reflect his current holdings in GameStop to the tune of over $210 million. Over $115 million in shares, 5 million shares to be exact, but the bigger part, $65 million in June 21st $20 calls. It does not get higher stakes than that, everybody. Those are some short-dated calls, less than 3 weeks till expiration, about as high conviction of a trade as you can possibly make. That's wild. He's actually down in that position right now, 3.5%. So, but that's his current position, guys, right? So, what my opinion is, what I believe happened is that Roaring Kitty back here in April, early May, was loading up calls the first time around. That's when we started seeing $12 strikes, $14 strikes, $16 strikes coming on in. And he probably rode this entire move up. And then what happened? He probably closed out after making $100 million or something crazy, sold it, and then what happened? Got back down to the orange box of destiny. And what did I say in my first video? Right? I said, you're not chasing up here. You're waiting for Ivy to come back down and flatten out. Implied volatility, right? Calls were absolutely juiced up here on this move down. You need some sideways action, some cool off, some testing of what? Previous resistance to become support into your loading zone. And the average calls, like I said, on his calls, he is down, right? So he had his first position. We don't know what that was. He didn't update that. But he was 1,000% loading in this box the entire time. How do I know that, too? One, based on the price of the calls that have been coming in and the flow we've been following. And two, the average price paid on his 5 million shares. Average price paid is $21.27, right in the median of this box, right? So this was him. This was him keeping up the stock. And probably some retail too, or maybe some funds, who knows. But for sure, this was him propping it up the entire time, building out a new level of support above previous resistance. I mean, good Lord, guys, I couldn't have... I said exactly what I thought the plan was, what I thought was going to happen. Did I think that Roaring Kitty was going to do this exactly? I mean, it's freaky. It's exactly what I said. Watch my first video. It's exactly what happened. So now what? Now we're currently trading up 20% according to Robinhood overnight trading, which they've had pinned for the last hour. We're going to gap up, that's for sure, especially once 4 a.m. comes around and the rest of the market opens up with other brokerages. The question is going to be how much do we run in pre-market, how high, and then how quickly do they halt us once the market opens up at 9:30, because we already know, right? They're going to halt it. They halted it like 37 seconds in to this day back here, whatever it was in early May, mid-May. But this time is different. This time is different. The first time around, what happened? Oh, this might not even be Roaring Kitty. Oh, his account was hacked. Who knows if he's holding? Blah, 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 right? A million different things. Who knows? But now we know for sure, unless you believe that his Reddit was hacked too, and his E-Trade is all fake. Well, whatever. You believe what you want to believe. But this time is different. Like I said, this is a very, very high conviction bet by him to the tune of $500 million going into GameStop earnings in a couple weeks. Right now, GameStop did pre-announce their numbers, but that was before what? That was before they did the at-the-money share offering, and what did they do? They raised over $900 million where? In this zone right here too, right? So this is as Roaring Kitty was loading, GameStop was unloading, right? And raising their free cash flow for their balance sheet to the tune of $2 billion, right? and just becoming exponentially stronger as a company on paper. Said that too. Everyone else on Twitter told me I was crazy for saying that. No, he's not going to sell at the bottom, Ryan Cohen. That's stupid. He's going to wait till it's $500 a share and sell then. Okay, guys, it's not fairy tale land, right? The stock ran 400%. It was still up, trading over 100% from these lows back here. And again, he just raised close to $1 billion doing it. All right, so let's see what else Ryan Cohen has up his sleeve. Let's give him some credit here. And what catalyst might be right around the corner. I mean, clearly Roaring Kitty thinks something's around the corner, or he would have not have just added, again, one more time, $65,700,000 in calls that expire in a few weeks, and another 115 million in shares. So where do we go from here, right? That's what everyone wants to know. What are the price targets? I'm not here to throw out crazy numbers for you guys. I'm here just to show what I see on the chart. So tons of lines all over the place. Let me show you guys how I got some of them. So clear levels of support and resistance. First off, this 626 level, we're above it in pre-market now. I assume we're going to get above it before market opens up tomorrow morning. I want to see a push into the mid-30s. I would love a gap up, an open into the mid-30s to open up 100%. I mean, what are we looking at here into the mid-30s when Friday's close? Yeah, 50%, 100% would be around 46, 45. Not that it's impossible, but I mean, I'd be happy anywhere in the 30s again. Get into the 30s, start building out some more levels of support, because let me show you what happened the first time around with GameStop for anybody that wasn't here in 2021. The behavior is different. Sorry. Let's go back here one more time. Roaring Kitty post, big gap up. Following day, big gap up again, right? So we're not getting crazy candles like this with big spreads during the day. All the moves are coming in, extended hours, after hours, pre-market. Why? Because they're halting the hell out of it this time around. In 2021, if you were here for that squeeze, like myself, that wasn't really the case. Yes, we were getting crazy gap ups, but then we were also running. Like here, 50% in the day. Big gap up here, sold off a little bit, but still closed up 18%. And then the next day, what? Ran. So this is where the candle opened. This is where the day opened. We opened up at $22.14 and pushed all the way through the day for a 92, 93% gain up to 37 and change. And then you had a massive gap up the following day, up 135%, right? So that's where a lot of the damage is going to get done this time around, which I don't know how they're holding it so many times and how nothing is. I mean, am I surprised? No, not really, but it's different this time around is all I'm trying to say, right? But so Orange Box of Destiny the first time around, if you guys watched my first video, why I was so high conviction for this time around and why I felt the same move was playing out is because we saw this before, right? The difference being is that this candle right here we ran 104% of the day. Right on the top of my screen up there, you'll see the percentages when I hover over the candle. For anybody that's new, not 104%, right? So we opened that day at $11, and we ran all the way up into close to $23. So the candle's not going to look like this, right? For the reasons I just said, because we're going to have a big gap up, and they're not going to let us just keep running. They're going to halt this thing and try to keep it pinned sideways and flat. Especially now. I mean, another thing, the conviction and the balls on Roaring Kitty to disclose his position when every short seller and every market maker that absolutely hates him is going to try to just theta decay and pin the stock and drive the stock down and have those $61 million, $67 million in calls expire absolutely worthless in the next few weeks. They're going to be trying to hammer it. So he must really feel confident about something coming up. So back to my point. We're not going to see a candle open up tomorrow at 23 and push throughout the day 100%. In my opinion, we're going to see something like this tomorrow, another big gap up candle with kind of a narrow body, right? That's the width of the candle here because, again, all the halts, right? We'll push up a bit, we'll sell off. That's what the wick of the candle is, the action going back and forth throughout the day. We'll see that, and then maybe the next day, again, we'll have another gap up. Who knows? It's only June 3rd tomorrow. We have another 2+ weeks to GameStop earnings. A lot can happen, but it does look a lot like 2021 with what I showed you guys with Orange Box of Destiny. So what can we see possibly playing out in the chart from a technical standpoint? What I'm seeing is probably pretty clear looking rounding bottom, which this big blow off top here came right down, steep sell off. Then what happens? We flatten out. We're going to gap up tomorrow right here, and it's going to start curving up and pushing up and pushing up and pushing up. And that's your rounding bottom pattern, right? So that makes a lot of sense to me over these coming weeks. And I mean, again, could it play out even longer? Could it go higher? Again, we'll see with the halts and what news comes out about him disclosing his position, what market makers say, what SEC says. You just be prepared for absolutely anything, right? So maybe you get another big move up, and then you get a big move down, and then what are you forming? Then you're maybe forming a macro cup and handle, and then you get towards GameStop earnings, and then you have a handle play out, and then you just rip up from there to whatever, crack 100. But that's just technically speaking what I'm seeing. But let me just show you guys another example of some other kind of just different squeeze plays, but technically how they can play out, how they have played out. SMCI this past year was in a gamma squeeze for like 2 years straight. A little bit different, right? This one just kept pushing for years and years and years. But the big thing I want to show you guys is the power of consolidation. So SMCI up here, this name had loads and loads and loads of options activity. And that's how you're going to get these gamma squeezes, especially on GameStop and squeeze plays. So this thing consolidated for effectively, was it like 5 months? Yeah, 155 days, a little over 5 months. Then they got a big catalyst for like a pre-announced earnings report where they guided up like 300% for the year, something crazy. And that just sparked, whatever, a 300% run for that too. Now, this isn't me in any way saying that GameStop is going to run to $1,300 a share. Very different circumstances, companies, and it wasn't halted this entire time, right? Much different, but just to show you guys, the power consolidation and what, effectively what a rounding bottom looked like on SMCI, right? Big move up. It didn't blow down as much, but it did have a steep sell-off, and then it rounded off, found support, and it just kept going right through, right? Before it eventually came up and then flagged out here, and then we'll see what SMCI does, but don't want to get too much off track, but again, just want to show you guys what a kind of rounding bottom look can be on a chart, and just the power of prolonged consolidation. This consolidated for 5 months, GameStop for a couple weeks, but you get the point. So let's get back here. Let's get back to some price targets. So delete this look over here. Apologies if I'm going too fast. Pretty pumped to be doing this for you guys, honestly. But that's why it's recorded. So, right, giant macro move. So basically from the start, 2020 to 2021, some trend-based fib extensions to the current breakout. So the macro 236, in my opinion, and again, this can change a couple dollars in either direction. But the 30s are a big level for GameStop, and you saw it sold hard through those. So the 30s and then up in the 70s were rejected hard in pre-market. This most recent time around also makes a lot of sense, too, for a level to be defended. But let's start getting in a little closer. Oh, and one more thing for the absolute clowns on X, that I shared my long signals, my long signals on Friday. Someone said they don't work. Well, here's an exit short on GameStop, meaning get out of your short position and it's about to blow. This was fired off on April 24th. Colin Gleb in Discord, we were all over this one. And if you played this signal, right, this is before Roaring Kitty, this before any hype, anything, what happened? It ran up 500%. And if you played the exit long here on the daily, this thing dropped down since then 40%. So it could have saved you from getting into any short-dated calls if you followed these. So you guys do what you want. I'm generally trying to help you guys posting on X. taking the time to do this, make videos, share posts, share flow constantly. I mean, I've been sharing flow every single step of the way with you guys and for you guys. These $20 calls for Roaring Kitty, I was calling them out every single time they got sold off, added back in, open interest chains increasing, the $30 calls getting added on Friday, which could be another player. It's not in his portfolio. He's not holding any 30s, but someone knows something to add all those $30 calls for 2 weeks out, and those might be in the money tomorrow. So whoever loaded those is going to wake up a very rich man, it seems like. So I'll keep posting, I'll keep sharing with you guys because I know how much GameStop means to a whole lot of people, including myself, for many, many years now. So let's get back to the chart. Big gap here up to 28 and 27.73. The bottom of that candle, look, we were kind of halted in pre-market right now, or overnight trading. We're halted right at 27.58. So they're halted. Robinhood randomly halted right exactly at this gap right here for now. But I think we'll blow past that in pre-market. I really do. The next areas of interest on the chart are these imbalances, right? These gaps on the chart that have had some price action go through. There's the difference between an imbalance and a gap. Gap, you don't see any wicks, right? No shadow. There's nothing on the chart. That's a gap. Here you see the wicks touching, going down to other candles. Those are imbalances, right? And those typically get kind of filled as well. So I would love to see a base and a push through tomorrow from, it's called 34 to 40. That'd be one great range. If we get through that, the next one up will be the 40 up till about 48, 49, call it. So this whole area here, these boxes are fair game in the next day or two, in my opinion. And I mean, that's going to be a 100% move, right? Going from 23 close up into the first box here, 50%, 72%, up to this next imbalance, 112%, right? Crazy gain. So let's see. Let's see what kind of shenanigans they throw at everybody. But getting to a little more micro trend-based fib extension from the real start of this move, the most recent one. Let's say the move started about here, like I said, around the exit short, to the resistance where we got sold off of on Tuesday the 14th, to the lowest level here. All right, so again, all these areas above the gap right here at 28 will be great, bare minimum. I want to see that. Then look, the macro 236, the micro 382, mid 30s, again, up here into this imbalance, right in that midline around 46. All these levels are good. And then you start getting to the golden pocket, golden extensions up here around 618 to 0.65, around the 60s. That's huge. If we get to extended hours, it hit really hard resistance around just shy of 80. It's like 79 and change. Delete that. Yeah, 79.91. High of the candle. Yeah. So high 80. Top, it hit 80 exactly. So for sure, someone unloaded a ton right there. That was hit hard. So over 80. I don't expect that tomorrow. That'll be a little nuts. That'll be, how many hundreds of percent? Yeah, 250%. I don't think we're going to run 250% tomorrow, guys. Just trying to be as grounded as level as possible. I don't want anybody grabbing some insane out the money calls for Friday, please. Based on numbers you're seeing here and fib levels here, this is just for all, again, as we start checking boxes. That's what you want to see. Just like back here with levels of support being built out, I want to see healthy moves. I want to see a gap up, defended and held, gap up, based out and held, and just so on and so forth. And I would just love to see a prolonged squeeze for weeks, and I mean ideally months with GameStop. But yeah, don't look at these numbers up here, not just yet. All right, so this is what I'm watching. All right, so little by little, check these boxes off. We'll see what other catalysts are right around the corner. Pleaser Dow, Wu-Tang has been teasing some stuff. Who knows, right? Mergers and acquisitions. GameStop sitting on $2 billion in cash right now. The earnings numbers are for sure going to be changed, obviously, after raising that cash. So that's going to be updated too. So we'll see how algorithms kick in. We're going to see a lot. It's going to be absolutely wild tomorrow morning and this week coming up, in my opinion. So just be smart. Seriously, just be careful. If you're going to try to buy calls at open, IV is going to be absolutely juiced. So You're going to see calls. I mean, if you had calls, congratulations. If you were loading in this zone, like I was saying in my first video, if you watch my first video, I mean, you should be very, very happy right now and tomorrow morning, considering this gap up holds and pushes, right? I mean, I could not have laid it out any better for you guys, in my opinion. So I really, really hope you all banked, and that's why I'm doing these videos, guys. That's why I'm posting flow like crazy. Why I'm updating X posts like crazy with what I'm seeing is I legitimately want you guys to crush it. I want your families to do well. I want you guys to do well. I want to see shorts get their absolute teeth kicked in, market makers and hedge funds to get their teeth kicked in, and yeah, be smart, guys. Really hoping for a great week ahead. This is a crazy start right now, but be smart about what you do. All right. I'll continue to update as best I possibly can throughout the day, throughout the weeks, and help you guys every step of the way. All right. Love you guys. Have a great night. Good luck getting sleep. I'm not sure I will, but yeah, do your best. And I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone.